What's up YouTube? I'm DIY Guy. Today I'm going to be talking about how to summarize or kind of prep storage of your snowmobile. Specifically, I got a Polaris RMK 2000 behind me that I'm just going to go through a couple things that I like to do to sort of know that when I start it up again in the winter time, it's going to be good to go. So with that, let's get started. The first thing that I like to do is actually shut off the gas and then turn the sled on and run it out of gas completely. Not out of the tank completely, but out of the actual lines. Some people will like to run the tank completely clean, so there's absolutely, you're bone dry, there's no gas in the sled. I don't particularly like to do that. I kind of like to leave just a little bit, a couple gallons of gas in there, and then stabilize it instead. And then in the fall, I can actually just add real fresh gas and kind of dilutes any problematic or old gas. Then the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to fog the plugs. We're going to take the spark plugs out, put some fogging agent in there, and then kind of pull on it a couple times with the spark plugs out, and that just kind of like cleans up any of the gunk that goes in through the spark plugs. I'm going to grease the suspension and other parts of the sled, show you how to do that, and then we're going to put fuel stabilizer in the gas tank, so we're good to go. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so this is your fuel line, and what I'm going to do is actually, right now it's on, you can tell because it's parallel or in line with the actual lines. If I turn it like this, now it's completely off. So I'm going to fire this thing up and let her run for a little bit. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is the spark plugs. While we're here, we're going to get in, we're going to take these bad boys off. Alright, so we're going to pop these off. Be very careful if you just ran your sled. You might have some pretty hot parts, so be careful what you're touching. Don't burn yourself. We want to clean these out a little bit. This is also why we want to replace these as frequently as we can, because they really get gunky. We want to get rid of all that black. So we're going to run some fogging oil. And you can use a straw if you want. Otherwise, it's a big enough hole that I can just kind of just give it a couple sprays. Alright, so hopefully it's not too bright with the sun beaming on me, but what we're going to want to do now is just give it a couple pulls. And now just replace the spark plugs. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is start putting grease anywhere that we can put it, and just make sure that we're not going to have anything, especially if you haven't used it too much. You definitely want to do this, but it's just a good idea to add some grease. What I like to use is this Mystic synthetic. You can use whatever you want. Make sure that we put it in the grease gun down here. This guy right here is an example of what you want to grease. So you want to take that grease gun and just attach it to there and just start greasing it. And you'll start to get some grease going in there. And we'll just attach it to the top one here. Crank on it a couple more times here. And get some more grease in there, and do that for all of them. That's how you grease it. There's two more right there. You can kind of see them. And then up front, those are going to be tough to get to. But if you're willing to get a little dirty, you can get to those. Alright, so we shut off the gas, ran the gas out of the line. We fogged the cylinders. We've greased some grease points. And then there's two more things I'm going to do. I'm going to put some stable in the gas tank. And we don't need very much of this. We need about 1 ounce per 2.5 gallons or so. So I only leave a couple gallons in the tank. So I'm going to use about 1 ounce of this. And there's measurings on the side. And then the last thing I'm going to do is actually put a little WD-40 on the throttle line, just to keep that from having any issues. Sometimes that'll dry out and crack and snap if you haven't used it for a while. So we really want to avoid that for sure, because that would be bad while riding. All right, stabilizer's done. I'm gonna get some WD-40 and do the throttle and we'll be done. All right, for this, you're definitely gonna want the straw on the WD-40. And there's not a great way to do this, but you can kind of get in here, rip this thing back. And those are just a couple easy steps that you can do to summarize your snowmobile, and hopefully you won't have any issues then when you start it up in the winter or the fall time. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm DIY Guy. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks.
Thanks for watching.